You have various obfuscations. You can submit a prompt in multiple languages, base 64, base 62, huge amount of different ways that you can manipulate the system now. So I think there's a big change coming as to where exactly what role the testers have. They're a lot more important. But what, in your perspective, what part of the loop is the human tester should be, is now.
This is where I like to say, I have always been a really big um, believer in context driven testing, in the context driven methodology. And I honestly believe in this AI kind of world, testers that are already following an understanding of context driven testing are going to be way ahead of the game. Because they're thinking about these questions, and that's where the role of the tester is really going to start being super important, is asking those right questions, being the thought provoker, challenging requirements and all of these things. Because I mean, even with bias, you're going to have a really diverse test team. You look at models, and agents are only as good as the data that they're trained on. And if you have a team of, I'm going to say it, middle-aged white men that are the only ones writing this who have a master's degree, you're going to have bias in your system. So it's going to be important to have those, a variety of testers at a variety of skills, technical and non-technical, that can look at these systems, look at the context, and provide that real kind of, like I said, outcome based. It's going to be a lot more user persona based. This is where behavior-driven testing and testers are once again going to be ahead of the curve, opposed to a lot of the more regulated testers who have, I get a requirement, create all my test cases, and run my test automation scripts and expect the output. The role is going to change to be much more contextual based.
So the personality testing has to be very diverse in order to be able to infiltrate the system in new unforeseen ways that it was, outside of how it was trained or tuned to begin with, because it's being done that by basically like a certain demographic, certain crowd. And you have to have very interesting new ways to think of attacking it, right?
And you're going to have to be very curious, and you're going to have to be very tenacious, because sometimes, like, we know that it's not deterministic, so it's going to change. Well, you still have a context buffer. So, you keep going through, and, testing context buffers is going to be a huge thing, because how far astray can you that, um, lead the system, really? You can't just run it once and say it's good to go.